Hi, I'm Joel Chorny. I'm a criminal defense attorney here in Tucson, Arizona. And today, what we're going to talk about is what you do if there's a warrant for your arrest. Finding out that there's a warrant for your arrest is one of the scariest things that you can experience. Basically, what you're finding out is that the government is trying to take custody of your person. Not a good place to be. Your first instinct might be to panic, run, or ignore it. I assure you, those are the worst things you can do if you find out that there's a warrant for your arrest. Before I get started, I want to make something very clear, which is that I am only licensed to practice in Arizona, and this video is meant to be informational and educational only. I am not trying to give any legal advice, and watching this video does not create an attorney-client relationship with me. Every case is unique. Every situation has its own circumstances. And if you have questions, you definitely should consult with an attorney that is licensed to practice in the area where your matter is. If you have questions that you want to ask me, you are free to reach out to my office. I'm happy to help. With all that being said, let's talk about what to do when there's a warrant for your arrest. The first thing you're going to want to do is confirm that there's actually a warrant for your arrest. You might have heard rumors that there's a warrant. You might have some other reason to think that there is one, but it's important to confirm. And there are ways to do that. You should, in some places, be able to check the court's website, and some jurisdictions will have that listed on their website, but many don't. Here in Arizona, there's actually a warrant hotline that you can call through the Department of Public Safety. I should say, before recording this video, I confirmed that the number for the DPS warrant hotline is correct, and that number is 602-223-2233. They're actually quite friendly and helpful. They'll need the last name and date of birth of the person who may or may not have a warrant, and then they'll check to see if there are any warrants for that person with that date of birth. I have used that service myself several times to find out if a warrant is in fact in place, or find out that there is in fact no warrant. But that is another way that you can confirm whether or not a warrant is out there for you. Lastly, and probably the most effective way, is to contact a criminal defense attorney to find out. We criminal defense attorneys have our ways of finding these things out, and we know how to navigate the process. So if you're confused, getting a lawyer on your side can be very helpful. What you do not want to do is call the police and ask if you have a warrant. They may use that phone call to locate you and arrest you immediately. They might try to get you to make statements that will help them build a case against you. This is why I strongly encourage you not to call the police to find out if they have a warrant out for you. The second step is understanding the type of warrant that we're talking about. Not all warrants are the same. Knowing what kind of warrant you're dealing with will help you figure out your next steps. The two common types of warrant are an arrest warrant and a bench warrant. An arrest warrant is issued when law enforcement believes that you've committed a crime. They go to a judge, they say to the judge, we have probable cause to believe that this person has committed a crime and we want to make an arrest. And that's what an arrest warrant is. A bench warrant is a warrant that is issued by the court because a particular date was missed, a court date or some deadline was missed, or in some way the person is believed to have violated the court's orders. And so the bench warrant is an order to law enforcement saying, grab this person and bring them to court. These warrants are different in that a bench warrant can be quashed relatively easily compared to an arrest warrant. An arrest warrant is probably not going to be something that can just get quashed. Then the options are to do a self-surrender on the warrant, to pick a time and place to do that is less obtrusive to your life and safer, or to find a time to appear in court for the bench warrant. So the type of warrant matters in determining what your next move is going to be. The important thing to remember is that both types of warrants need to be taken very seriously. Step 3. Contact a criminal defense attorney. If you take nothing else from this video, please remember this. Do not try to handle a warrant on your own. A lawyer can help in ways that you simply can't. You might be asking yourself, how can a lawyer help me? Well, a lawyer can file a motion with the court to quash the warrant if it's a bench warrant, and in most cases that can be resolved relatively easily. Courts tend to feel less of a need to have a warrant in place when a lawyer, a member of the bar, is representing themselves as the counsel for the person in question and showing themselves in court. So judges become a lot less skittish about not having the warrant active and out for the person. A lawyer can also arrange for a safe and strategic surrender if needed. When there's a warrant in place, a person is subject to arrest at any moment. If the police have contact with someone who has an active warrant and the police figure that out, they will make the arrest. And that can be extremely disruptive to your life. It could happen when you're pulled over randomly because you have a broken taillight. It could happen where they show up at your work and then they parade you out of your office in front of all of your coworkers. It's much more preferred to pick the time and place where you will go into custody pursuant to a warrant. Third, a lawyer can help advise you on whether bail is an option and how to prepare. Depending on the circumstances of the warrant, a lawyer might be able to have some insights into what is the likely outcome of the initial appearance that you'll have in front of a court pursuant to the warrant. And that can give you valuable information in deciding on what it is you want to do in light of the warrant. Step 4 is to not ignore or run from the warrant. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that a warrant will go away if they ignore it, and it simply won't. I repeat, it will not. In fact, ignoring it only makes things worse. Warrants don't expire. They just stay in the system until they're dealt with, either because they get quashed or because they get served. I have, in fact, had clients who had an active warrant out for them for decades, which they were completely unaware of. And of course, they found out in a horrible way. When I mentioned previously getting pulled over for a broken taillight only to find you have an active warrant, that's a real case that I had. I had a client who had that happen to them, and they were minding their own business and suddenly found themselves in jail waiting to figure out what was going to happen with this case that had been pending for decades. So don't ignore your warrants. It doesn't work. You want to deal with them. You want to take them on. So the key takeaway here is that a warrant doesn't mean you're guilty. It does mean that you need to act fast. The sooner you handle it, the better your options will be. If you have a warrant in Arizona, don't wait for an arrest to happen. Call my office today and let's talk about your situation and talk about your options. So remember, protect your rights. Know what they are, assert them, and get a lawyer on your side to help you, because you do not need to handle this alone.